Good morning, dear viewers. You're welcome in this talk show. The point, and this Saturday, we believe that we'll have a serious discussion which will help have deliberation that will guide policy makers and implementers, and possibly the participation of the citizens in such a discourse. Our topic this morning is discussing the challenges in the transport sector, looking at the unresolved traffic jam and the state of our infrastructure generally. And in our discussion, we're also concerned about the livelihoods of our people, those who are living in urban areas. And the housing sector has faced a number of challenges, some which are being solved, others which are being considered to be evaluated for possible solutions. This morning, we are again, as Smart 24 TV, blessed to have our dear guests, and these dear guests are very relevant in our discussion. I will not introduce them. On our right, we have Honorable Lord Councillor KIZZA HAKIM, but you will introduce yourself much better than what I've stated. And we also have, it's a pleasure to have you, sir. We also have Honorable Okwera Mujisha. You also introduce yourself briefly, the former Lord Councillor of Kampala. You normally call it the Metropolitan, right? The Metropolitan City. And Honorable Banyezach Henry, he has been our guest some few days ago, and we are again blessed to have you, sir.
Thank you.
We hope we shall benefit from your deliberation. Please allow me to welcome our guests. You're welcome, sir. You can introduce yourself as we continue our discussion.
Thank you very much, our host. Dear viewers, good morning. My name is KIZZA HAKIM SAWULA, Lord Councillor for Rubaga North, and also Executive Secretary for Works and Physical Planning at KCCA. Actually, in time you can call me a minister at KCCA.
Oh yes, yeah, you're a minister, you have
and physical planning.
That's right.
I'm glad to have colleagues and even former minister. The one I admired during those days of late Nibanda, Honorable Banyezach. Great to have a discussion with you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Banyezach Henry, currently working with Operational Risk Creation as a director, and an ardent love and promoter of development in this country and in the region and continentally. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We are blessed to be with a minister who is in charge for transport, and basically this goes with the works, it goes with the infrastructure, it goes with the roads, and it has in Kampala. In Kampala, you know, there has been always an agitation that we can have the federation of states in Uganda for some region. So luckily,
but again, Kampala Capital State Authority has even a special act.
Special act.
We are not under local governments.
That's right.
The entire districts are guided by Local Governments Act.
And even your
but
budget,
for KCCA, we have
your budget even is higher than all others.
So you're already independent.
It's already independent.
It's a regional government on itself.
Almost.
Right.
Thank you so much. Yes, please, dear viewers, again, I would like to give you an overview of what we are discussing about. We are aware most of our fellow countrymen and women, especially in terms of the population, Kampala, which is the metropolitan area, it covers a number of districts, not only what used to be Kampala district as our comrade has stated it, but even it stretches until of recent, where there are some of other cities that are to be also declared to be independent, but still Kampala remains the overall. And we are interested to see how we can improve the current situation. Whereas the discussion on slums is not the major one, but again, we look at the state of transport sector, the connection of roads in the city, and possibly when you are crossing from here to the Mukwano area, we used to have a strong connection of the railway line, and I believe which used to be very much vital, both in terms of facilitating is a transport. And we are also aware, dear viewers, that there are some of the associations which are legitimate that manages the transport sector. We used to have the UTODA, right? And whereas there are existing mechanisms and bodies which are to streamline the transportation or the transport sector, transport services in the city, but we remain with unresolved questions. When you are traveling, those who are within this urban area, from Wakiso to reach here for work, it is a big challenge. And I'm blessed to be with a research report, a study which was carried by Friedrich Ebert, 2021, that is October, and the report was released on Friday of October 2021. It is known and properly stated that according to the KCCA report, 50% of people who work in Kampala access the city by walking to and from home on a daily basis, while 30% use taxis.
130?
Yes, that is 30%.
Okay.
Use taxis. That's the public means of transport. And yet, 10% of the populace, they use borders. Again, according to the report, 10% are the ones who are using personal cars. This report is uncontested. And we continue again to discover, while we are trying to analyze this situation, the 2017 World Bank study indicated that traffic jam were costing Uganda more than USA dollars 800 million. That's about 2.8 trillion. This is free information we can access on internet and other established reports. And in the year 2017, there was a great loss and a decline of our GDP, gross domestic product, with a daily basis loss of 24,000 persons per hour in Kampala alone. And according to this report, the study, which is part of Just City program that looks in urbanization in Africa. And I believe the reason why this study is relevant was to look at what has caused this to persist for some time. And we are blessed that we have the KCCA, as you've talked about it, and we appreciate what you've done, but also we are aware of the challenges you've been able to encounter. Why is the transport sector facing, among other challenges, the traffic jam? Please, you're welcome to give us your point of view, because we can benefit a lot from you and maybe give Ugandans hope. Where we are going, maybe it will be better than how it is today.
Okay, thank you very much. I will start by maybe making it clear on the point where you said that 800 millions are lost just because of traffic jam. You have not made it clear how is it lost. But I think what he meant in the report, that the hours you spend in traffic jam, for the developed country, they count it into a productive thing. So someone is expected to report at work by 7. But because of the traffic jam, that person reaches at 10. He's lost 2 hours or 3 hours. He's supposed to leave work by 5, but you find that person leaving at 3 so that he can reach in time at home. All 2 hours are wasted. So in total, you find someone is losing 5 hours. So they compute these hours into money. That is why they are saying that we lose almost 800 million.
Plus the fuel you burn.
And yes, the fuel you burn in traffic
in the jam.
So there is a lot. Actually, we appreciate this. However, it can be exaggerated, but somehow it is true. The concern of traffic jam actually entirely is brought about so many issues. One of these issues is about our infrastructures. The nature of our infrastructures. You see, Kampala has a total kilometer of 2,000, there are 2,300 kilometers, which are gazetted. But when you go to see what are tarmacked are just 610. 610. And even those which are tarmacked, you'll find 230 are full of potholes. So the challenge is too much. Yes. But what brings this? Is it the KCCA which doesn't want to work on the roads? Like I said, I'm the Minister for Works at KCCA. But you can even look at the entire budget of the institution. The World Bank report of 2019, it was discovered that if Kampala is to develop in terms of infrastructure and other things, you need a total budget of 1.4 trillion shillings.
1.4
per financial year.
Per financial year.
But what is given to KCCA? This ongoing current budget, we are given 367 billions as the budget for the entire institution. 367 billions. Yesterday, we were supposed to complete the process of budgeting. The MTF ceilings from the Ministry of Finance gave us 441 billion shillings. For the first budget circular, when it was brought for the second one, we are deducted 21 billions. So you can see. But almost half of this budget is taken in the infrastructure. But is it enough when you talk of the kilometers? If you were to consider the cost of each kilometer, standard one, when you tarmac the road, you construct the drainage channels, you put up the security lights, the standard cost is 3.5 billion. So if you need to work on 100 kilometers, how much money do you need? You can compute. How much money do you need? So you find that the engineering department of KCCA, which is responsible for roads maintenance, which is responsible for drainage, which is responsible for security lights, which is responsible for all the works, is just getting 200 billion shillings from the budget. So what do you expect from this? And as political leaders, we have always petitioned the government that there is much which is collected from here. At least if you could remit like 3% of this money to KCCA.
Honorable, what's the contribution in terms of revenue collected around?
In terms of revenue, almost 75% is collected from here. So you can compute it.
How much, what's your revenue, revenue collection within the city?
As local revenue,
yes.
We collect 100 billion.
100 billion.
Financial.
100 billion.
Financial year. Our collection is 100 billion.
And you are given 300 billion.
We have estimates of collecting 250 billion.
And we are given 200 billion.
We are given 200 as works. So the estimate would be more than that. But again, we have challenges of transport issues where the taxis are not supposed to pay because there is no legal instrument to back up that corrections. Or the borders are not correcting. You don't have a legal instrument to back up that correction.
Why don't you make by road?
This is what we are talking about. These advertisers, the outdoor advertisers are not paying money, any single money, because there is no legal instrument to back up that. So entirely, the sabotage of not developing the city maybe is championed by the government. Because everything is almost sabotaged from the system, within the systems.
Within the...
Yes. Like you said, what are the solutions? For example, we had wanted to collect money from the taxis. And then we tried to work out an ordinance, Kampala Public Transport Management Ordinance.
Yes.
But they are sabotaged by the Attorney General's office.
How?
You work out the situation, the processes, SEC sits, makes drafts, you take them to council, they are passed, the minister takes them to the Attorney General's office, they take years to come back. Because they are supposed to go to the Attorney General's office.
Yes, I remember the process.
Then when they bring them back, the Lord Mayor signs and then it becomes a law.
Honorable, you are bringing something pertinent. You are
Yes.
still the one on the floor.
Yes.
I am expecting that the government is expected to be cooperating with you, especially if it goes to an issue of revenue collection. I am really expectant that at least you may differ on any other issue. But when it reaches on the issue of collection of revenue, that shouldn't be a challenge. What is likely to be the reason why such an occurrence, for such an occurrence?
I may not know, but in my expectation, I see it's because the elected leadership of Kampala is always opposition. They have never wanted opposition to perform because we can win a credit from the public. So these are the reasons why we get such sabotages. Otherwise,
Really?
why wouldn't you allow the process of acting laws to flow and then the government benefits? Because you don't have money.
Yes.
If we suggest for a correction,
Let's first submit.
I beg to be protected.
Yes, yes, I'm protecting.
Yes. If we suggest for a correction, which is going also to weave off the burden from the government, why wouldn't you support? Even I'm speaking now, in November, we tried to work out, to draft some ordinance in support of this, what I'm talking about, like the outdoor advertisement management ordinance. Then we requested for funds from the accounting officer, who is the ED, to finalize the process. The person in that office is saying that we don't have budget for that. Yet it is an ordinance which is going to support the entire correction. Do you know how much money we lose from not having legal guidance to back up these corrections? You see people putting so many these outdoor adverts, but they are not paying even a single coin.
Oh, why? Because
This is what I'm telling you.
I'm coming to you, sir.
Eh.
I'm interested in the discussion.
Yes.
Entirely, the whole country and the whole world knows. By the time the KCCA Act was put in place, was to give you the autonomy.
Yes.
It was to give you the authority. No longer to first go through Ministry of Local Government, maybe to complain to whether the president, it was to give you authority. And what the point you are drawing us to is showing that there is high level of sabotage, again, which sabotage, I believe we are supposed to be protected by the law to make these laws without such a kind of sabotage.
What I can tell you, you see, there is no law which works independently. It has to work and also be supported by other laws. And even the same law, there is so many stakeholders and their mandates are also guided by law. So you see, when you are working out a budget, you generate a budget as KCCA. But when you go to the Ministry of Finance, they will give you guidance that on this amount of money, you're not supposed to deduct any single coin. They seal it off. You see how KCCA works with the Ministry of Finance. After working a budget and it is passed in the council, you have to forward it to Parliament for approval.
That's right.
So KCCA cannot work independently.
I agree.
It has to work in relation with
With
other
other
departments and institutions of the government.
That one's right.
But we get the sabotage just along the way because of the reason I've told you about. Actually, we go into leadership with a good spirit to serve, not even promoting our political parties. I said I'm a minister, I'm a member of the executive. I know much about the institution. You hear so many issues in the markets. The last time Uganda has ever had a market was 1946, when they legislated a law on markets.
Markets.
Which is the
Construction of markets.
markets, about running of the market, which
Yes.
means
Administration
even
of
the
public markets.
Yes.
how many markets were there during that time? Do you want to tell me that the government has never seen that we need to have a law in regards to guiding in the process of marketing? Just this year, when the pressure was too much, is when we saw a member of parliament coming up with an independent view of working out a draft marketing act, of creating a marketing act. We have started the process of coming up with a market ordinance. It has ever been frustrated. Not until just recently when the president was also has also been confused by the processes about the people he sent in Window Market and those who are coming out, those who are coming from the market vendors. That was when he was confused and asked the ED, what is the solution for the markets? And the ED said that we need a market ordinance. So we are trying to legislate on the market ordinance. It came out for the first reading. It went into the committee of gender. So we are expecting to bring it out back to the council first and then been taken to the Attorney General.
I will be coming back to you, but another interest for the sake of viewers, you know you are the one who is the minister for Kampala, and we are very happy that
Minister at KCCA,
at
not
KCCA.
Minister. I don't
yes,
want to be attacked by
Minister at
by
KCCA.
Mr. Chofa.
There is a controversy,
yes.
And that controversy is part of the causes we are looking at for this traffic jam. You have talked about, of course, the funding.
Funding is very key. You
have talked about the issue of the law. Then you have talked about sabotage and the legal framework.
Which I'm contesting.
Yes, you are coming immediately after this point.
But
there was, let me come to you. There was a challenge, and while I was a police for police analyst at Parliament, and it was not resolved in relation to Nakasero market being in the center here, and yet the kind of accessibility and activities around does not favor the easy flow of and movement of the people. What is your take on that as we will
come? By the way,
let
me tell you one other thing. Do you know Do you know that Kampala doesn't have a development master plan?
Doesn't have?
Yes.
Mama, it has.
It doesn't.
It has.
He will give information after.
Because we have a report which was compiled by some specialists which were hired by KCCA from South Africa and South Africa and another country. They came out with a report in 2012 guiding how a development master plan can be created for the entire city. Because a development master plan is a Bible or a Quran for the entire city development. I'm telling you this because I'm a minister for physical planning. Let me explain.
Okay, sir.
That research, which is already at KCCA and in government whatevers, it requires just to be facilitated and in the process be completed to come out with a development master plan. That is why you see, you don't know what is supposed to be done in Kololo, you don't know what is supposed to be done in Buya. You can find a factory, you can find residential, you can find, everything is confused. That's why you find these water, people of water can dig along the road and they just leave things and go because there's no master plan. Otherwise, they would be sharing a same cable of transiting these things. So that is one of the challenges. Actually, I want to invite the government, all the stakeholders, to assert their efforts on this matter. We cannot just go on doing things minus a master plan.
Thank you, Honorable. I will be going back to Honorable Kwera, but allow me for purpose of information, which is burning here, from Honorable Anyezachi, to first come in and then you will come after. Yes.
I'm becoming a bit uncomfortable because I know for sure the master plan is there.
It's not there.
No.
Some people take that research to be a master plan.
Let's hear from him. You know, he's a former minister
of economic. They can give you use your phone and
economic monitoring.
You can Google it out.
Let's get information from him.
This is public information.
Yes.
There is definitely a master plan for Kampala.
Development master plan.
Yes, it is there. Because if you didn't have a master plan for Kampala, how would you know where residence is? Where would you know where commercial is?
Was it launched and
it's not launched. Can I give you information on that matter?
Give me.
So what we decided, the World Bank through KIDZA funded a project, and it is a case study where KCCA decided to pick Kololo, Mulago, Nakasero, and Makerere to take them as samples in case you were to develop that master plan. What should be done?
Let me emphasize this. You don't have a master plan?
There is no master plan.
Because to the best of my knowledge, a bit honorable. It is a bit also challenging much as me, I'm not having any side.
Can you Google that and let us know?
Yes, please. Now, even a local government, a district local government, a sub-county, you cannot be allowed to access funds without a development plan.
Development plan is different from a master plan.
Let's hear from him. We will come
Yes.
back to you on that.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Yes, someone is doing it.
Thank you so much, Doctor. You asked very well, and for this program, thank you so very much about what you have brought out, especially as regards the transportation, the challenge of transportation, infrastructure, and housing. For starters, one of the challenges we have in the Kampala, KCCA, is too much power centers. Power centers are so many, to the extent that the political head of Kampala, according to the Act, is the road mayor. That's the political head of Kampala. But when you are there, the RCC for Kampala will say this. As we are still trying to contemplate, the ED will say this. The deputy will say this. The minister for Kampala State, Chofata Ogabi, will say this. So by the time you know it, the power centers are too many. Power centers alone bring a very big challenge. I can tell you, I appreciate what KCCA has been able to do. Give the same power centers in other local government. For instance, in a good city, let them have a minister for a good city. Or Mbalala, the work won't go on well because of too much power centers. Now specifically, I was a councillor at City Hall definitely last time. We tried to make ordinances. I was blessed to be on the Committee of Engineering and Technical Services. We developed the border ordinance, that is transportation. We developed the taxi ordinance. All those were to help out as in line of transportation. But as soon as we began consulting borders, then we
Which
were.
year was that?
That was, I think, 2018. No sooner had we started consulting borders across the divisions, than we were stopped by the RCC.
The R?
RCC.
That's a president.
City Commissioner.
The commissioner.
That's what I was telling about power centers. So the engineering committee, who was headed by Honorable Abek Kawalia, where I was part of, we requested all the borders to come to Nakawa division. The Lord Mayor was going to come and other councillors, so that we can consult the borders of Nakawa division. What are they saying with the draft ordinance of the border transportation in Kampala City? So we are going to consult the entire Kampala. All of us had already entered the whole of Nakawa division or Urban Council. Then the chairman of border Nakawa division, who is Mr. Kawawa, had to go to RDC's office. This is what causing security. By the time you know it, RDC says the meeting had been stopped. And that was the end of the border transportation ordinance. It stopped there. Are you getting what I'm saying about the power centers?
So how is it contributing to unresolved challenge of infrastructure?
And that's what, we're on transportation.
Yes,
Transportation.
Traffic jam, because here
that link was going to organize border people. That's already transportation.
Yes.
It was going to give it was going to organize them how many stages to have, where to stage,
yes,
what to do when, and how to what to put on as uniforms. Very many things are going to come up. But since ISIS stopped us, it had never come up. It stopped there. So that's what I'm talking about the power centers. The taxi ordinance.
That is the power centers, yes.
Yes, we came up with taxi ordinance. Still, it could not take off. We made some other ordinance, like talking about market ordinance, which I was very passionate about. We have an ordinance which is there in Kampala, market ordinance, of 2006. It only lacked one thing. It lacked how leaders of the markets come on board, how they live. It talked about all other things, but it left out leadership. So when we are making up this ordinance of markets in Kampala City, we put in leadership. Leaders shall take 3 years. They will 3 years and renew the ones through a vote. But because there are some markets didn't want that ordinance, and they had to go to Attorney General. please, it should stop there. That ordinance stopped there. So power centers are disturbing us so much, are disturbing people in Kampala.
It's the root cause of the problem. The people of Kampala
power centers is a lot, because
there are four power centers.
There is the president, there is the RCC. So now all directors are appointed by the president. So sometimes it becomes challenging to the Lord Mayor, who is the political head. Whom should they listen to more? When they say this in the council, the next day they jump to Mr. Museveni.
There is a minister before you go to
no, even Mr. Museveni, I'm telling you, they have to go back to Mr. Museveni because it's the appointing authority of all those people. So the directors, the 10 directors, public health, all those have directors. They're appointed by Mr. Museveni. So they always have to run to. So as long as we have so many power centers, we shall always have challenges. Two, some of these roads, the roads we have, the lanes. I remember when we were in the council, we struggled and passed Old Port Bay Road to have 4 lanes. Old Port Bay Road, that is from Wampeo up to the Luzira. That road was supposed to be 4 lanes. 4 lanes. 2, so that it is. Yes, so it becomes bigger for is a flow of what? Of transportation. As soon as we had passed it, then there was now because so many rich people stay in Kololo. That's how things are worked out in Ugandan style. There are big people in Kololo. We came back again in the council. That council took up to midnight. And they had to change our plan. Bring in Kololo Road. We should work, instead of Portable Road, let's first work in Kololo. So now the Portable Road was, now Portable Road brings more flow of taxis, more than even Kololo here. So it was changed to Kololo. And then we pass it again. I know Portable Road is going to be worked on this very year. You will give us more information. So we left when we had passed. That one was, that time it changed the road from Kololo. Now we let again pass the one for Kololo. So the point is, our roads sometimes also need to be expanded. Our roads need to be expanded so that we can have a flow of many cars.
On that point, before you leave it, why you are talking about the roads to be expanded? Because I want us to be, in this matter, I am a policy analyst, expert policy analyst. And I admit some of the points that you've articulated very well, and any other person can agree with me, that indeed there's been a challenge of political interference. And the interference at times can be from either opposition or ruling, because this program is typically not political, but yet it is a factual program. That's why we call it The Point. Dear viewers who are with us on Smart 24. And on the side of the government, much I'm not a spokesperson of government in this matter, it is also a challenge in implementing some of these programs, especially because of a very poor land policy. We were talking about expansion, and at times the government, in a way to compensate those who may be encroached on while there is expansion taking place, it becomes another challenge. Say, no, you people don't leave, and even those who have built in the road reserves. I normally hear some of our politicians, those who are our politicians saying, you people don't leave. Even those who are in the road reserve. What is your take on that? And in 2 minutes, what did you leave behind that was an action point that can at least maybe built up by our colleagues so that we can come out from this lamentation? You'll come just 2 minutes and then we'll come on everyone.
Thank you so very much.
Yes, sir.
Compensations, most of these roads are World Bank roads.
Why do you go to the World Bank roads?
Yeah, okay, funded, because World Bank which funded.
There were roads.
Most of these roads.
Yeah, funded.
Our roads.
He's trying to describe the
yes,
roads.
yeah.
Okay.
Now, compensation sometimes always comes in handy. But there are some roads where when we were councillors, we could make these roads and we tell people there's no compensation. Whenever we're making whenever we are choosing these roads in the communities, we begin by having roads which are expanded already with no compensations, especially those feeder roads which we made. when we're making choices of roads, which road to make, we always first begin with which road does not attract compensations. For instance, when we are choosing the other Cecilia Road in Mutungo, Kampala Road in Butabika in Mutungo, we saw that they don't attract compensations. So, but most of these highway roads, like now Port Bay Road, those compensations have to be there because there is so much. You have to, if you want to expand lanes to be 4 lanes, definitely you have to compensate. And there are very many businesses there. So you have to expand.
Do we appreciate the dilemma? At times, the funds which is given by
it's a matter of budgeting. It's
the World Bank. It's not all that, because the challenge we are facing as a country, I have reached a point to accept as a person that we must be able to appreciate whether the challenge is faced by the government and also by the people, and what in the future maybe may happen, comrade. We come to a dialogue, whether it's an economic dialogue, and say, this is the challenge we are facing. How can we come out of it? Let's go to Nabanyezachi.
If I give information,
yes.
Doctor, we must put facts right. Because I'm not going to come here and...
You don't want information?
No, I want facts right. You know, I'm dying. First of all, Road Council, with due respect,
Yes, sir.
there is a master development plan for Kampala. Okay?
Yes.
Even I tried to, because I know that for a fact.
Yes.
There is no master plan.
All right. Let me give you here. I will tell you the date it was launched. I want to be specific. It was launched on 29th September 2020.
I was interested.
Okay? Its plan, its finance, 7 trillion, amounting to 1,900 million. It was even costed. You know, I can read you the story even here. Kampala City Council, Kampala Capital City Council has launched a $1,900 million,
this contestation
approximately 7 trillion.
We have 2 minutes, I will go for a break.
5-year strategic plan running from the 2021, 2024, 21. The authorities are trying. It was launched by Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda.
Do we understand what we call it?
Wait,
Master plan.
Even here, you hear, this is it. You get? The plan is a great pillar in achievement.
It's a master plan, right?
2040. You get?
What is
now,
contained in that master plan?
First wait, brother. When you are talking, I kept quiet.
Let him give us information on master plan, please.
Now, it is even costed. It is a 5-year plan. You get my point? Now, with this 5-year, we have 2040 vision, another plan.
Yes.
We have a national development plan.
Yes.
All those plans captures, and they feed into the other. The plan for Kampala, metropolitan city. You want to ask me?
Dear guest, let me come to you.
Ask.
Wait a bit. Let me come to you
ask.
so that we can move very well.
Let him ask.
We are going to have a break of 1 or 2 minutes. Then we will start with your question, and then Honorable Banyezachi. And we are very happy, but want to be very indeed factual. He will give us maybe the details.
And if I had time,
please,
to do
thank you.
If your phone was
Dear viewers, let's meet again in the next session. Thank you so much.